Today I'm be working my workbook called Opening a Window into the Psalms. Psalm 1 through 21. And normally, if we were in the first psalm of my book, I would go through this in detail. But as we are not, if you want to read this, go ahead and just stop the video to read this. This is a general study on the Psalms, separating the psalm into groups, the musical nature of the Psalms, and then the poetic features of the Psalms, which we often get into. Now, as far as the psalm that we're doing today, we're doing Psalm 20, which is Trust in the Name of the Lord our God. Oh, I did that one. Sorry about that. Trust in the name of the Lord our God. Now, I wanted to mention again that these names are not with the Psalms. They were given, I've discovered them through New King James. And it's nicer than just having Psalm 20, 19, 18. It gives you an idea of what it talks about. But they're not originally with the Psalms themselves. And this is to the choir master, a Psalm of David. And this is the whole scripture, so I will go ahead and read it before we get started on it. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and accept your burnt offerings. Selah. May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God, because may the Lord grant all your requests. Now this I know, the Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers them from his heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. Lord, give victory to the King. Answer us when we call. Okay. So normally I give a bit of commentary for the Psalms before we get a deep dive in them. And there are several people talking about the Psalms, and they all say something different. So I've just taken a selection. In the part of the first, this Psalm is part of the first book of Psalms. According to the NIV Study Bible, Psalm 20 is grouped in Psalms 15 to 24, where Psalms 15 and 24 frame a cluster of psalms that have been arranged in concentric pattern, with Psalm 19 serving as the hinge. There are thematic links between Psalm 16 and 23, 17 and 22, 18 and 21. Psalm 20 is a prayer for the king's victory. According to Jamieson, Fausset, and Brown, Psalm 20 is a devotional intercession psalm. Now, looking at when it might have been written in history, Thomas Nelson's Chronology Bible places this psalm at the end of David's life. The Blue Letter Bible places it in 2 Psalm 10 at the war with the Ammonites and Syrians in 1036 BC. I believe that the Blue Letter Bible is more correct. This is not a psalm normal to David's end of his life. We usually have pretty sad psalms there. But this is actually written not from David's perspective, but from people. David wrote this psalm to the choir master, which is interchangeable with the chief musician. In David's time, this would either be Asaph, Jeduthun, or Heman. Asaph was a prominent Levite, a worship leader, and a magician in the court. He composed or co-authored several psalms. Jeduthun, also known as Ethan, was also a prominent Levite and magician. Heman, the Ezrahite, was a Levite, seer, songwriter, and magician. He also wrote a psalm. All these were at one time considered the choir master or chief magician. This psalm appears to be the people of Israel blessing their king David, and David's personal statement in the middle. Therefore, there are three sections. The prayer of the people for the King David prior to battle, part 1, verses 1 through 5. David's response, verse 6, and the last section is the prayer of the people for a king prior to battle, part 2, verses 7 through 9. Okay, the first section, the prayer of the people for King David and his army prior to battle, which is verses 1 through 5. So we're going to move this over so we can just see that. Okay. And let me read those again. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and accept your burnt offerings. Selah. May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. In repetition of the word may, we see the people praying over David. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and accept your burnt offerings. May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. If this is truly about the battle in 2 Samuel 10, then let's take a look at the battle. 2 Samuel 10, 6 through 19. When the Ammonites realized that they had been obnoxious to David, they hired 20,000 Aramean foot soldiers from Beth Rehob and Zobah, as well as the king of Maacah with 1,000 men, and also 12,000 men from Tob. On hearing this, David sent Joab out with an entire army of fighting men. The Ammonites came out and drew up in battle formation at the entrance of their city gate, where the Arabians of Jobah and Rehob and the men of Tob and Maacah were by themselves in the open country. Joab saw that there was battle lines in front of him and behind him, so he selected some of the best troops in Israel and deployed them against the Arameans. He put the rest of the men under the command of Abishai, his brother, and deployed them against the Ammonites. Joab said, I hate to keep you in suspense, but you got to move this over here. Be strong and let us fight bravely for our people in the city of our God. The Lord will do what is good in his sight. Then Joab and the troops went with him, advanced to fight the Arameans, and they fled before him. When the Ammonites realized that the Arameans were fleeing, they fled before Abishai and went inside the city. So Joab returned from fighting the Ammonites and came to Jerusalem. After the Arameans saw that they had been routed by Israel, they regrouped. Hadadezer had Armenians brought from beyond the Euphrates River. They went to Helam with Shobach, the commander of Hadazer's army, leading them. When David was told of this, he gathered all Israel, crossed the Jordan, and went to Helam. The Arameans formed their battle lines to meet David and fought against him. But they fled before Israel, and David killed 700 of their charioteers and 40,000 of their foot soldiers. He also struck down Shobach, the commander of their army, and he died there. When all the kings who were vassals of Hadadezer saw that they had been routed by Israel, they made peace with the Israelites and became subject to them. Did David and his army, Joab and Abishai, win the battle? Yes. What did Joab say about the Lord just before battle? Let us be strong and let us fight bravely for our people in the cities of our God. The Lord will do what is good in his sight. The second section is David's response, verse 6. So let's go ahead and move this back. Whoops, that's not what I want. Okay, got that. Let's go this way. Thank you. Now this I know, the Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers him from his heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of his right hand. In verse 6, David gives us a personal statement telling us what he knows. What does he know? The Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers the anointed from his heavenly sanctuary. God answers the anointed with the victorious power of his right hand. In this case, the anointed is David the king. The third section is the prayer of the people for King David prior to his battle, part 2, which is verses 7 through 9. So let me read those. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. Lord, give the victory to the king. Answer us when we call. Now, in verses 7 and 8, it is the people again comparing themselves to those who fight against their king, their anointed one. Some trust in chariots and some trust in horses. We trust in the name of the Lord our God. Then they are brought to their knees and fall. We rise up and stand firm. And then the people's final cry, Lord, give victory to the king. Answer us when we call. So this psalm lives on this way. The Jews use Psalm 20 in prayer, particularly during times of trouble or when seeking divine support, and is recited daily in many communities with specific uses in morning and evening prayers and during times of stress or labor. So that's the end of Psalm 20. It was a pretty good psalm, I think. And I hope that you will continue in our series of psalms. Thank you.